back.
Hey guys, just finished watching Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 10, The Book of Rebellion, Chapter 3, Angelitos, Negros. An interesting episode. I mean, it was kind of cool. Maybe first episode back in 2019 here, and it's kind of an interesting episode. We start off with not too really much happens here. I mean, some of the things that do happen are obviously kind of big somewhat things and stuff. We got Khalil, finally he's been living in a train and stuff, and he even brings Jennifer there. They start living in a train a little bit, and that's pretty much all that happens for the first bit. And then later on they find Lynn almost finds them. Just pretty much they start looking around and trying to find her. She almost finds her, as a bit of a speech and stuff, trying to convince her to come back and stuff. And it was okay, but it was really very, very short speech and stuff, so it's not really like a memorable speech or anything, but it was interesting. And then Jennifer decides that she needs to. They decide that Jennifer needs to just go home because Khalil, Tobias is after Khalil, not Jennifer, right? So I think that is kind of interesting, and they decide to do that. And then when Tobias decides to, that's when and then we get the reveal. That's when Tobias. That's when what is it? Khalil decides that he has to kind of turn himself into the police and stuff. So that was interesting dealing with that part. And we find out that Tobias' secret, the case that he has with the green glowing case, is actually a computer, or a weird looking computer, which I kind of find is kind of silly. Like, why does it look like such a silly looking computer? Why does it have green light? Maybe it has a little bit of light or something like that. Maybe some red or something, but green, it was kind of a bit weird. And how it had like a glass thing, like why just put a simple laptop in there, an FBI laptop or something like that. Maybe a little bit of colors to just add it, make it look a little different, but like a glass thing that just looked like a silly laptop, like it looked like a hacking laptop from like the 90s, like a terrible 90s movie when they're trying to make hacking look cool and stuff. And they didn't really do that here. They didn't fall into that trope that everyone does, because if you know anything about hacking, or very little bit about hacking like I do, I took a semester just once in computer programming. Didn't really learn much, but I know how difficult hacking is, and it's nothing like it is in the movies. And they didn't fall into that trap here, so I'm glad they didn't try and make the hacking look good and stuff, because there's no way of making a hacking scene look good, look interesting, look thrilling, because it's a lot of trial and error, right? You just keep going. It's just a lot of brute force, and just keep you don't stop, right? Just persistence, and there's not a real way to making it look good for a movie scene or a show. So I'm glad they didn't do that here, but just the computer looked a little silly, and it just would have made a lot more sense if they just had a straight up computer in. They make computers. I'm sure a government agency like the SAA or whatever, the people who are making who are who are running the pods and stuff, and they would definitely have a laptop like that, and it would definitely be interesting. But just the way it looked was kind of a bit silly, but I guess that's a bit of a nitpick. And then there's this one scene at the end when so they get to buy Khalil ends up handing himself in to the police, and they do the transfer and all that stuff, and there's they got two armored cars, and then you have Khalil in one, and you have I don't know, it looked like there were 5 or 6 police cars around those extra things, if not more. And every police car, I'm assuming, has, 2 people in there, one to drive and one, to literally ride shotgun, right? And we just see Cutter, the one person goes up against them, she kind of makes that scene so that the one cop goes up and one FBI agent goes up and then gets his throat sliced. Okay, surprise attack, cool. But there's then after you killed one cop, you have, you had at least at the beginning, the first row, you had almost looked like 5 to 10 guys, maybe let's say 7 guys pointing their guns at him, 7 agents pointing their guns at Cutter. And then the next thing we see is that all the FBI agents are dead. It's either one, show us that awesome fight scene, because 2, I don't believe that she was able to, survive all those. Some of them had, some of the SWAT FBI agents, had assault rifles and stuff, so probably have like over 20 rounds in their stuff. So I don't believe in the space that she had from where her fake accident was, and she slit the first agent's throat. That the first move she did when she started running and chasing after them, that she just let it, like, the rest of them just let it happen, or if one person creeped up and tried to put handcuffs on her, that when she slit that person's throat, she didn't get shot by someone. Like, it just didn't make sense. There was such a firing squad worth of people pointing guns at her, and she still managed to kill everyone with a knife. I mean, what is she, Flash or something? Which, if they had established that she has powers or something, cool, then that would have answered it, because they have powers in this show. I don't know why they didn't do that, because that's the way I would have done to kind of explain as to how she was able to kind of just a knife take on 20 FBI agents pointing guns at her, and not get shot at all, like we see later on. It's just completely fine, and just show us that scene if you're going to do it. If you want us to make to see how it works, show us that scene. I really don't understand is how that, I mean, after she killed the first guy, they got motive to not want to go up, and if she flinches, to just take her out, right? She killed an officer. So I just don't understand, and I wish we would have seen that fight scene. It could have been a good fight scene. It could have been a cool fight scene, just to explain. But otherwise, just seeing that everyone's dead doesn't, we haven't been with following Cutter for a long enough time to be able to just go, oh yeah, she has that, and it's almost as like she has like it's almost as if she has like super speed or something. It's the only explanation to understand as to how she was able to, kill all those guys without getting shot. There's too many people, and the first distance, like I said, was just too far, that if she started chasing after him, she'd be dead as soon as she, third step, and then boom, someone that, like, they'd just be able to just brain her with bullets. I just don't understand as to why, how she was able to do that, and I would have liked to have seen that just to explain it. We see Tobias ends up ripping out Khalil's spinal cord, and they just leave him for dead out on the street. And that's kind of interesting. I don't understand why he did that, and why he didn't kind of kill Khalil, either one, ripping his head off or cutting his head off or something, or ripping his spine out. And how did that not, how did he, like, he grabbed the spinal cord? Wouldn't the thing be kind of fused permanently to his spinal cord and pretty much kill him? So I just don't find it hard to believe as to how they're gonna bring him back, or how he was survived. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make sense as to where things go with that. And Tobias is not even trying to hide himself as, hide the evidence of the body. And I don't know if that's maybe Cutter and Todd Green who threw him out in the street there, if they went against the way she did things wrong or something, because why would they just leave him out there? And if they're going to just leave him out there, why not the whole point is to make sure he can't talk. So just ripping out his spine and leaving him partially alive is not, cutting, is not making sure everything's gone. So I just, and if they were worried, they were worried about, the body being traced to him, they wouldn't just leave it out there, which I'm not sure. They just kind of literally put it out in the street in front of them, which would be kind of silly, because people would just have seen, oh, I saw those two guys coming out and dropping there, whereas they could have gone to the roof, thrown him off the roof, and, at the weakened state, that would have definitely killed him. So I just don't understand as to where things are going with that, and why didn't he kill him? He pretty much did, but, just ripping out his spinal cord is not going to, stop him from being able to speak or anything like that. And ripped out his tongue or something, that would be cool. But I much thought that they would have just kill him, I mean, just he ripped out his spinal cord, make him suffer a little bit, then just kill him to get rid of him completely. So it's just kind of weird as to why they did that, and hopefully, when Tobias finds out that, the police pick him up, and because Khalil can still talk, so he'll still be able to heal up and talk, it sounds like, which doesn't make sense. His spinal cord should be ripped out. He should have died instantly as soon as the spinal cord came out. It's like, there's so much stuff there. Should have died pretty instantly. All that bleeding, should be a lot more blood, and just, everything should be so much bleeding and so much blood. It's just kind of silly as to why things were not Then at the end of the episode, we see that Todd Green ends up unlocking the computer case, and there's all kinds of stuff about the ASA and the pod experiments and stuff like that. So I think that'll be cool to see as to where things go with that, and hopefully it'll probably involve the Pierce family, since Lynn is involved. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any kind of new information. It's unclear if Lynn will be on that. She might not be on those security cameras. If that's wirelessly connected and it's getting new information to that laptop, interesting. But if the ASA know that laptop's kind of out of their custody and just out there, then they might have kind of stop sending information to that laptop, and then they, all the information is a little bit old. Like it's old to the point where they might not have the knowledge that Lynn Pierce is working with the pod people. Then they might not have the knowledge that that kind of relevant knowledge. They might have everything just up to that, till whenever the case was, the laptop was kind of in their custody and last updated with information. But if it has a wirelessly connected over the internet to getting new information and all up to date, then that could be something interesting to see. But I imagine the ASA, if knowing that the laptop's not in their custody, would be kind of disconnected, and they'd stop sending information or allowing that thing to access their servers, right? But they can't stop what's already loaded onto the computer, right? So I think that's kind of interesting. But and also I guess with the ASA have some sort of kind of device like, oh, that's out of our control. But either one, locate it, or two, send a self-destruct thing that just kind of blows itself up. Either not actually blowing itself up, just kind of fries itself so it doesn't work, right? I'm surprised they don't have something like that. It's a secret government organization. They'd have to have something like that. But oh well, we'll just have to wait and see as to where things go. But it's going to be interesting to see is how things get used. It looks like they're going to be dealing a little bit more with Jennifer's powers in the next episode, so I think that'll be fun to see as to where things go with that. There is that photo of her flying around the internet with her in costume, and I think that's kind of an interesting, but it's just I don't know why they revealed, like last season, they put out the picture of Thunder in costume, full-on costume, before she even had that costume. It's like, why wait till it's revealed in the show before you put it out there? If it leaks out there, okay, whatever, but let the leaked photo or leaked terrible photos, even if it's a set photo that looks kind of blurry and stuff, just leave that out there. And then if high quality photos come out, oh well, the ones who look for it. But you release an official photo, and that gets passed around more often than like set photos, because some people don't want spoilers for like set photos. They avoid set photos because they're more spoilery than released photos. So I think it's going to be cool to see what happens with this when we get to see Jennifer in her costume. But it's just, I wish it would have been kept as a surprise rather than put out there by the Black Lightning Twitter account, Instagram, and all that stuff. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go with that. It looks like we might get that maybe like at the end of the season or something. We'll have to wait and see. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Where do you think things are going and stuff? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.